pretty okay performance. I think they actually got 11th overall in the grand final, so pretty good performance overall from them. And I think that they're really just finding their footing as a trio right now, and to see them in the group stages being able to make it into the end games definitely bodes well for them in the future.
Gotta give a shout out to Jacob, right? Our little Fortnite historian right there. As soon as he saw Donnie up on the higher ground in a 1v3 situation, instantly the call back to the famous moment for Donnie. If you forget what I'm talking about or don't know it, I'll go ahead and check that highlight out on Donnie's Twitter. It is awesome.
Oh yeah, man, to see him again performing, dude, we love that. We are now 2 games in, only 3 games left to go. What are we hoping to see? Because if we need to make pivots or adjustments or adaptations, now is the time.
Well, I'm excited to see who's going to be taking high ground now since Kanata's trio isn't here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of see, right? Phaser maybe kind of seeing some highlights up there. I mean, we saw Clix's trio try to go for it before. I wouldn't be surprised to see them up there.
That's fair, that's fair. What's that, Kelly? You said Kanata? You said you missed the Zeke? Kanata! Okay, all right.
Thank you so much, Zeke. I felt like I could hear him all the way over where I live right now, Monster. But 2 games are done, you know, and finally a drop spot has opened up with Kanata reaching his 27th grand finals. Crime City is now up for grabs.
Yeah, Crime City, great drop obviously here, but game 2 concluded, done, and you're right. Who is going to take high ground? What more is left here for trios to go ahead and look to aspire when it comes down to fighting for height? You know, what more do you need? They did it in such a strong fashion. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out, Jacob.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. You know, but let's take a look at Phaser, King, PH Sin, first place on the consistency leaderboards. They talked about it kind of start to show how they went over to EU as a duo. This time they got their global championship spot locked in and they came over to Central. And this is honestly what I love to see about some of these teams in the other regions, investing in themselves, giving themselves the best opportunity to get that practice before the global championship, especially since they really don't have anything to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that you see that, you know, year to
sorry
year
for
now,
the late
different
intro.
teams willing to kind of take
This
that
is
risk, mix things up.
part
You know,
2
last year we
of the
obviously saw the same as teams start to do it, but
this
give
is
us a
part
second,
2
we'll
of
step
the
on the
Fortnite. This is part 2 of my Fortnite spectating that game for y'all.
Game 3 is here, just a couple more games ahead of us, and we will be done for Group 2 and moving on to Group 3 tomorrow here. But do keep in mind, it's about being consistent, but more importantly, taking that victory royale. If you want to get a straight shot to the finals, that's what's on the line here. And when you win, you're taking out of the
lag?
box.
If you watch my other videos, this never happened.
Things start to open up, less teams are queuing in now, and then it's of course a fight
Yo,
to the end.
guys, do you see that?
Already
This
resistance
never
base
happens.
uncontested. We've known that to be the case throughout the day. Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx, though, didn't expect them in this situation. Only 12 points so far, so they got to make these last 3 games count. But as we tune into Lone Wolf, they've had enough. Doggo, Oak Run, and Jake, instead of landing towards the outskirts north of Lone Wolf Lair, they said it's time to contest it. You guys have had your chance uncontested. We have to start to make up for lost time, and this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, game 1 they had this completely to themselves. This time around, you know, more friction going down here, and I like it. I like the action, and it seems like things are not looking too good as Paige Zin has already fallen. So somewhat of a rough start for King and company, but make up for that there. Misses the first opening tag there. That would have really set things up for him. Given that Doggo didn't have shield right then and there.
He knows his teammate is nearby, passing on over some of those heals. Even if they might not have a full loadout with Outlaws or Sentinels or even a Twin Fire, you just try to make sure they can do that bait and switch, jump in and out of the box as they're getting pressured on the other side. A lot of the builds, FaZe was trying to farm up, just kind of going out the window in an instant. And I think they know, the trio knows on the other side. Jake just trying to cut off a whole nother angle, stop the possibility of them going up, and if they do, they run into trouble. King trades shots with 1, but just the numbers game is just too much right now for them to overcome, especially since they're out of builds.
How fast he was thinking about that edit right there. Just gets right up and over. Tags another player for 85. Didn't want to wait. Almost gets the full finish there. King is very hurt though. This is going to come down to Phaser. If he can get that initial trade, here goes the one. There's the knocked body. Tries to hunt for the finish. That was greedy, but definitely at least puts a little pressure on, makes him think, and then plays a side angle. And this is a one-on-one. Player up the top has no shield. Phaser gets the dropped materials here. These are the scraps, as they call it, from King there. Jake, unfortunately, doesn't get the save from his trio. That could be the difference maker. There's the Siphon going and completely cap him off, and now plays
Oh,
for
he
the
has
pickup.
no.
So it's going to be a
He's in
double
a
trade on
bad
both sides here.
situation.
Oh man,
Intense
a
fight.
res
Oh no,
for
Jake
res.
canceled.
He got cancels his
cancel. That's a
res
mistake.
just to
There
go
he
for
goes
the
through
kill.
old builds, just trying to chase them away. And this is where Phaser knows, especially with King just getting revived back up, gotta give him some time to heal. He might not necessarily have a fighting loadout. And on top of that, if they already have the reboot card PHZ, this might be the best place for them. They're on the side where they can't easily access that reboot ban and at least try to get him back in the game.
That was kind of crazy. Like a couple moments.
In FNCS, it's always
there
really
could have
hard
been
to get
difference for them. And you know
to the
what?
reboot
Also
man.
close for Phaser, King, and PHZ. They get to see another day. Joji, Donnie, you see them kind of setting up their early game. We're just doing our roundabouts here around the map here. More action happening and unfolding everywhere. Back to the Canyon Crossing here as Heroes, Twist, and Vibes Nada. They've kind of been the victors, if you will, of the Canyon Crossing game and game again.
Yo, check this lag out, bro.
The last game they also kind of
Check this
disengaged
lag
after some
out.
time,
Check
so it seems
this.
like couldn't quite conclude here either.
Yeah, this is kind of one of
Yo,
those
what?
tough spots, this and Shogun's Solitude, to where there's a little bit of elevation
Yo.
here, but because of the
Yo.
surrounding mountains, you see it right there, it's not most of the desired spot to land at. But nobody's really making an easy push over on that side of the map, so we're gonna go back on over to Utopia.
You guys see this lag, bro? Anyways, if you haven't paused to get your snacks, this is your chance. I'll be paused for about like the same amount of time it would take you to get snacks. So guys, this is a little break. You guys go get your snacks, because this is about to be a long video, like an hour long. You guys can skip ahead through this video if you guys would really like to. Also, I'll show you guys. Yeah, if you haven't watched part one, go watch part one. It's like 50 minutes long. And this is part two if you've watched part one. Just realized, bro, I only get 1, 2, 3, or 4 views at max. Okay, guys, I'm back. That was a long AFK.
Of like that top consistency to get the VR feels good, right? That's it. You can just wipe your hands of the day, be like, all right, grand final, see you guys next weekend. But yeah, we'll discuss more of what happened in that game after this break, so stay tuned.
Wait, why am I... Guys, it might be a bit stupid to spectate because I kind of just skipped like a whole bunch of it.
50 charges, and each surfing session allows you to use 50 of those before needing a 5-second cooldown. While this is a good option for early game or even as a last resort, high level you're still exposed to getting shot at while using this item. This is why we won't see many players in FNCS using this item unless it's right off spawn or for a desperate last-ditch escape. A favorite amongst competitive players at all levels this season is the Mist Form. It's found all over the map and transforms you into a flock of ravens. Each flight only lasts 4 seconds and has a 20-second cooldown, but the speed and distance you can cover in that window make it one of the best rotation tools in the game. What really sets it apart is that while you're flying, you can't take any damage, not from other players or even the storm, which is why in a heal-off situation, we always see top pro players using the Mist Form to avoid taking any storm damage while they look around for heals. It's also perfect for making sneaky high ground retakes in the late game. On top of that, many pro players are actually using this item defensively too, escaping box fights when things get chaotic, making this item not just about mobility, but key to survival at times. The final main mobility item that competitive players are using this season are the dashes that can be obtained by throwing down the dash sprite and entering the circle it creates. The great thing about these is that any player in the area gets 3 dashes, so your whole trio can load up with mobility at once. The dashes themselves work very similarly to the Underworld dashes from last chapter, except they will not give you full damage immunity, so watch out for that. When it comes to box fighting, some of the elite players are using these dashes to get inside of boxes when they have the upper hand in a fight. When used well, these dashes can really be one of the most valuable assets to any team's inventory. Finally, we mentioned at the beginning of the video that there's a mobility item that only one player can use, and it's Core's Shrouded Striker Medallion, which can be obtained by eliminating Core on the Rift Island. This medallion allows the user to have increased stamina, jump further, faster and higher, partial invisibility, and fall damage immunity. We often see high fragging players like Peterbot and Marius taking this, as they use it so well in endgame to dip in and out of fights, finding eliminations as they do. Sometimes top players even combine this medallion with the dashes to get full damage immunity from those too, making them a force to be reckoned with. Make sure to keep an eye out for these rotation strategies today in the Group 2 games. See you on the Battle Bus!
Yeah, what's that? What's that, Clicks? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's all part of the show. Oh, Clicks, my boy. All right, sorry guys, give me 1 second. All right, man, I'll talk to you later. Okay, all right, bye. Sorry about that, guys. Just got off the call with Clicks, my good friend Clicks.
Skip ahead.
So,
you guys would like
believe,
to skip
that's,
this timer.
That's what I'm gonna go ahead and hold
skip
to.
ahead 3 minutes.
Wowie, this last game was
yeah.
kind of crazy. 16 eliminations and a second place out of the trio. If this was like grand finals, this would be like crazy, right, Kelly? Like a performance like this is next level consistency. It's awesome. We're not going to talk about the ending. We're just going to talk about how awesome they are.
I think when you look at the goal for today for all trios, the number one goal obviously is to make sure that you make it into grand finals, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go for the victory royale or even going to play to the top of your ability. You just want to make sure that you make it into grand finals. And I think the second goal for this trio is to get as much possible practice as they can possibly get in a set lobby. And I think that what we saw from them on the low ground, their ability to kind of control the low and middle ground, get all these eliminations, prove themselves
No,
as being
I
kind of the
actually didn't get
kings
to
of this
participate in it.
zone is all that matters in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to kind of see them play this game out, right? Just dominating the lower ground time and time again, finding the box-to-box fights that they won in, and just so cohesive as a trio. And just a great call from them as well, right? Picking up those eliminations and then instantly investing those refreshes onto the high ground. They just picked the right moment, and it was awesome to see, right? It was kind of like they had like an insider or something like that, right? Because we were watching King and Co up on the high ground, and they were like running low on
Clicks was
mats.
doing
They were
really
not picking
good.
up any refreshes up there on the high ground, and then it was like as soon as they got down to like single-digit builds, Clicks' trio instantly went up for it, and it was a pretty easy high ground take for them from there on out.
Yeah, it's awesome. Everything is great. I'm not. Look at them. Look at that. 221 points. I mean, guys, we only have 2 games left to go. Them, King and Phaser, PhZin, they're kind of like 100 points ahead of the competition, right? So I'm not super worried. Everything is good. Let's talk about King, though. My gosh, once again, I mean, we're just gonna continue to talk about how incredible they were, right? Game 1, 3rd place, 6 elims. Then game 2 was 4th with 8th, and now we just got a 3rd place with 10 eliminations. So they continue to rack up just like a little bit more.
They're in between. They're in between two POIs with a huge amount of players. All the teams are sticking together. It seems.
Like what this looks like in Grants. Does this change the landscape in NA at all?
I don't know if it necessarily changes the landscape
Looks
in
like
NA,
there's-
especially depending on where they're dropping compared to where other trios are dropping in North America, especially the tier 1 trios. But what I love to see from this is how they're shaking up the high ground control. We usually see teams around zone 8, zone 9 being the early high ground control, but King's trio are taking zone or high even earlier than that. And while we were watching those games, Vivid, even Zeke was like, what's this surge tower, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't a surge tower. This is just kind of how they like to control high ground. They do it early. Even if zone doesn't pull in their favor in the half in, half out, they still move to control high ground from there. But we've seen just what a deficit, especially when it comes into materials, that causes for them. However, it's worked out for them in the past. They were even able to take down Peterbots trio in the performance evaluation cups holding high ground. So I think that it just didn't necessarily go exactly the way that they wanted to. But for me, Vivid, I love to see just any kind of variation we get from high ground. And that's what Phaser, PhZin, and King are doing.
Yeah, I mean, and besides, you know, Zeke saying blah, 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 he also was talking about how they were ramping up those eliminations. And I got to say, I actually kind of got to critique the trio on that, right? Because it's like, yeah, we jumped into the end game, right? And it was like 9 zones. They had 8 eliminations. They were doing great in that regard. And then during the movie zones, there were just no eliminations. They didn't find any. If we think about the game before, right, with Kanata, Bolt, and Rapid, right, they had somebody down there picking up those eliminations, but this trio was just not finding them. They did not get the refreshes, and so that way they could not end up holding the higher ground in the end. Zeke, I see you, bro.
Hey, whoa, this is my show, Vivid. Okay, Fortnite fam, I'm gonna have a little talk with our analysts, okay? For now, we're gonna go in a game. When we come back, they're gonna be set straight. Okay, Casters, over to you. I'm gonna talk to you.
Is that our show? Is that Zeke's show, or is this the people's show, Monster? There's 2 games left. Time truly flies when you're having fun, but the closer you are to the top of the leaderboard, the more flexibility you have in your game plan, kind of business as usual. The further down you go, depending on your point deficit, you have to make these next 2 games count, and the battle bus is ready, so let's get right into it.
That's right, we're at the tail end of the event day now. Game 4 is here. After that will be game number 5, and group 2 will be wraps. You know, at the start of the day, I made the joke, kind of just politely saying, hey, you know, I don't think we're gonna get any Acorn-esque shenanigans today. I think everyone's gonna lock in. And then you see game 3, and it is just very clear that everyone's here to get the best practice in as possible, preparing up for, of course, globals and then this major here. Talk about good prac though. Resistance base under fire right now. Mud, Sphinx, and Shadow have a little bit of a contestation going on here.
Scratching my head just a little bit, but one's already going to get knocked. Sphinx dropped to just a little bit of HP, but luckily for him, he does have the minis on the other side. And Dentic with no builds, he's just trying to back up, reposition. Even with one of his teammates knocked, you know there's so many different tunnels, there's so many different pathways to try to hide in, and it's a surprise contestation, so Shadow, Sphinx, and Muzz may not necessarily be ready for something like this to go all out and clean that one up.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna all go downhill after Sphinx got tagged up like that, but just barely inching away and then somehow turning this whole thing around. They get the knock. And Muzz trying to see if he can open up some big tags here.
No.
Shadow jumping around.
Did
there,
my
setting some
lag.
full health, especially after this big pot. Just letting time pass. They know exactly where these players are at, and they're pushing forward just enough to make sure they cannot solidify a revive if it does come down to it. But he's nowhere in sight. And this is where they're trying to use their numbers, pouncing on him one after the next, just trying to bake through the guilds, get as much control. And now, Monster, they even have them separated into two different individuals.
I like this. You know, I've been a big fan of Shadow for several years now. A fun story of coming across him way back in the day. I met him when he was 13 at his first in-person event. Look at how far he has come now as he's continued to just work his way up and time again now fighting his way through. I think this is the first time I've actually seen him alongside some pretty heavy hitters, you know, with Muzz here. Sphinx, obviously someone who's continued to trend up as far as his overall, you know, confidence and finals go. Very nice to see them survive that drop here and continue to fight their way through it.
And I feel like every year there's some, I wouldn't say unknown names, but relatively names that people may not necessarily have a lot of stock in. But Curly as well, we're going to be able to see him tomorrow. One of the newer players kind of getting that shine, and Shadow as well getting that shine, being able to play with some of the best. And even on West, you got Victor B playing with the 6-time FNCS champion Epic. Well, but Lone Wolf from game to game still going to be contested. This time around though, King does look like he's going to be the first one to drop. PH Sin getting pressured. This one does not
Did I
look
swear
good,
with
'cause
this
that's gonna be a
lag?
full wipe. No knocks there on a PH Sin.
Guys,
Yeah, you
look
know,
at
that
this
game
lag.
just prior was definitely close. You know, it wasn't the cleanest
What's
off drop
this
for them.
lag,
It
bro?
doesn't surprise me that they fall here, but it's also just a sign that they gotta work on that early game drop, especially if they want to be fighting for Lone Wolf Lair potentially at the next major finals. As we know, I mean, that could be any one of our top trio teams that are going to be looking to take that. I know, obviously, Clix has been a fan of it, but they've kind of moved over to the Supernova Academy, so, yeah, I don't know just yet.
Did I swear if I
I like the
one
idea
more time?
around this. You know, Demon's Domain is going to be contested, and that main building is where both of the teams will particularly fight it out more times than not, whether you're splitting the top and the bottom. But that gives that third team, that third party, a chance to kind of
Come on,
loot the
Peter Bot.
outskirts, cut off the path, get some loot for themselves, and potentially how they play it, possible elimination. But enough for the niceties. Clicks Iamzo Higgs looking to get a little bit aggressive here in the early game from Supernova Academy. And this is the team right here that was just contesting Lone Wolf Lair, so now they have an opportunity to jump on him while they might be a little discombobulated.
Yep, I like it. They're moving really quickly here. Clicks with the cone up right there to catch Jacob. Nice and easily done there for themselves. And they make quick work of the first player here. Comes the redash up. And just using, you know, this kind of material like this, they have no care in the world. They've obviously done more than enough today, and this is just all to keep the blade nice and sharp here. Gonna go against the best in the lobby, but Jake and Dogo obviously now on the run.
Yeah, typically I would say I don't like using the launch pad, but because exactly that reason. But you really have no other options, no dash sprites, no misform. If you're trying to go ahead and create distance, that might have been the only option, but another one's gonna get taken down. So essentially, Doggo is going to be the last one alive over towards Lone Wolf Lair. He has no choice but to kind of sit and wait. Hopefully, he has at least one of those reboot cards of his first teammate that went down, because the clock has started for the second.
Yeah, this is interesting. I know, like, obviously, Clixions and Higgs are kind of messing around, having fun here, but, like, getting to this drop here, I would not doubt is obviously one of the cards up their sleeve here. Come for finals, so just a cautionary tale of what could be to come. Dogo hides out though. It seems like he might actually get away with it. As the time kind of clicks on here. Yeah, they're not gonna find him.
Yamza just has a sense. I didn't see him run away. He's probably scratching his head right now. I don't see him lurking around. Not
like,
even
Clicks,
a
are you sure you
smoddy
checked
audio visual. about here? What about the ammo? He's going back, just trying to get, because remember, this is a team, they used to land at Lone Wolf Lair a few seasons ago, so they kind of have a lot of familiarity with this spot already. Ooh.
Yamzo,
Left
come on,
instead
look
of
how
right.
sus. It's the only closed door on both sides, bro. He's got to be in there.
Hey, this is a 1v1 for Doggo as well. Well-placed shot into the Fury AR because he does have a gold. It's your only chance, Doggo. Go.
Bro, nobody's found him.
Okay, I just want to know, who has more patience here, Yamzo or Doggo?
Definitely Doggo. He's got no reason to run right now. So funny. It's like a straight out of a movie right there. He uses the ability on the pistols there. Well played.
Yeah, most of those moves are well played, very well played.
Not too far off from Utopia. Seek, Joji, Donnie. Rotating away from Shining Span this time around. They had the advantage, kind of hold on to it for as long as possible in game one. We're seeing a lot of action kind of break down early on in these games from week to week. Tony able to get that elimination onto Evan, adding to their Storm Surge, being able to kind of get a little bit more loot underneath their hands, and Willers is going to go down as well. So already 2 players on that team down and out.
This is a continuation here for Creon, Noisy, and
Oh my
Tony.
god,
Just game after game, they've got
this guy's almost died
number
as
on
many
their back,
times
but-
as he's
Now
killed.
Zone's kind of pushing through. Looking to kind of take this one on later. Coming back into it though. Take a look from Tony's perspective. How things kind of unfolded here in the replay. Big knock there. Just kind of kicking things off here at the pump power. And it was just a matter of repositioning for them. They didn't want to be the team kind of getting lurked on there. Pyro's going to be the one left behind now. Just free tags for them though.
Just kind of looking overall after, what, 3 games so far. Creon, 4th place on the overall damage leaderboard, just under 3,000 damage. It's just the thing that I think that's been ailing them is the inability to get inside of the top 10. They have a 10th, a 15th, a 14th. They have 12 eliminations.
Look how bad this
combined
lag
for all
is,
3 of those
guys.
games.
Can you even
so
see
they
this?
have the blueprint down, and they're just outside of that top 10 bubble, so they just need to make these last 2 games count. They don't need to go all out, necessarily win, even though that would make it easier, but they just need to consistently find a way to get into the top 8 in these next 2 games with the eliminations that they've had so far.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
the
look
thing,
at
right?
my,
There's
like, I can't
two
even move
ways to
right now. I'm
get
hitting
through.
moves.
Winning the
That's
game
how bad
is
my
out of the
lag
question.
is.
It's staying consistent. It's gonna get your ticket to the dance next. Okata. Eyes on Muskie here. He's on the run right now. 81 points for this trio. Not bad at all. They've managed to remain relatively consistent overall. Oh, they spotted out though. What they had was the advantage, but got a little too close to the sun there. Feel the heat firing back now. Things gonna break out. They got a nice spread though, still they don't know exactly where Kingston's at as he kind of opens side fire there. So still the advantage in the hands of Annex here for now.
Yeah, finally Kingston's position is going to be revealed by Annex. They do have a decent amount of loot, so Annex not going to have too much troubles getting up to 200 effective shield and HP. This kind of opens up the spot over here on this side of the map, though, due to Mason, Golden, and Chimp qualifying. Kind of Shiny Shaft is no more, so there's a lot of space between Outlaws, Oasis, Shiny Shaft, the surrounding land left of Crime City as well, and that's where you're seeing a lot more people feeling a little bit more to kind of move over in that direction, make it a focal part of their strategy, knowing there's not as many players over there as there once was. Status already down, listed in haze. On the low ground, forced to kind of wait in this situation. They could try to disengage down below and try to get out towards the southwestern part of the map, but it all really depended if they have the reboot card or not.
Click 6 and Yamzo. A fight right now. Once again, just staying active now at the brutal box cars here. So from one team fight to the next, you can see they've kind of loosened up the gears here now. Keeping the action, keeping the pace, the narrative straightforwards. They want to fight right now. Stay sharp here and keep the entertainment flowing. Everyone at home. 3 eliminations now for the team.
They're looking looking for those other ones. This is like back-to-back games. They pushed over towards brutal boxcars. They used that rail. Literally just landed right on top or close by. Flurry's just getting a flurry of shots fired in his direction by Yamzo, keeping the pressure up. Over 50 shots with that Spire AR. They're just able to endlessly spray for days as Flurry. That's going to be the first one gone, or I should say second one out of this fight. Zift, he's just trying to create as much distance as possible, but that exotic pistol just dealing so much damage and helping Clicks close the distance again. Even with the dashes, they're just hot on the heels. This is elimination points. This is one step closer to placement points, and it's all that loot and more as you see them inching that much closer to upgrading their superhero rank yet again.
Yeah, just a couple moments away now. About roughly a half elimination. Maybe you might take them straight into the next ranking, but pay attention here. As Noisy, Creon, and Tony.
Like, this is
time and time again, zone fights, different teams, no matter where they go. This time at the Supernova Academy, there's a lot of leftover loot here. Don't forget, Clix' team just ransacked this super quickly, moved straight into the Lone Wolf layer. So all these team here have a lot to work with.
Of course, this is
Trying to
knock.
fucking.
Seeing some stats right now. Noisy Creon.
Yeah,
Tony
you
to
can't
take
even
9
move.
ticks
Like, the
of Storm
slab
Surge
is so
throughout these
fucking
games so far.
retarded. Dude, I swear they do this lag shit ever again. I will. Anyways, for this little pause, you guys can go get your snacks, go get your popcorn. It's gonna be a long video from now on. This is like the halfway mark of the video. Yeah, I'm sorry guys about the lag thing. This is fucking bullshit. I don't even know how this is like possible. I don't know. Whoever's running the Wi-Fi at the Wi-Fi machine, they're doing a really bad job. There's not even a fucking Wi-Fi machine. What the fuck am I saying? But yeah, they're probably doing a shitty job. It's fucking lag. Like, whoever at the machine is doing that, I'll just push them in the nuclear reactor shit. They'd be rotting into their skeleton. Their skeleton will blow up. Yeah, it's gonna be another 3 hours. Another 3 hours till my lag stops. Fucking bullshit. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause for another 5 hours. I'm telling you, don't land you all. This is what it looks like from above. 214 height points. I'm hyped up. Oh shit. You take damage? Yo, what? take damage while in here? Nah, that's crazy. Well, you would think so. Oh, it still works. For a second, I was like, oh. I was being like, did they just close it off? Oh, it's a horrible loadout. Oh, launch me up. Professional Fortnite player. No. Oh yeah, I'm back from when I left. Aw, shit, I was just about to kill him too. And this will be a little challenge. I'm gonna keep this loadout. That's my challenge. Yo, did the thing end? Is that what I'm missing? Fuck, they know my location. They know me. They know me like I know me. They know me like I know them. They know me like I know they still. Wait, they might even just be teammates. Just giving each other kills. Wait, does this cancel fall damage? Okay. Okay, so that didn't work out. If this was real FNCS, I would not be having this loadout. 103, bro. What kind of shotgun is that? I hope this video goes viral. Also, if you watch till the end, comment down below hi. But only the people that watched until this part will hear that and comment it. Which, this video is only going to get like a couple views. It's just going to be people accidentally clicking on it or only clicking on it for a couple seconds. Yeah? Hold on, guys, I'm AFK. So for tonight, it's all the spectating.